The National Economic Council has acknowledged the federal government's approval of 5 billion naira to each of the 36 states of the federation to alleviate effects of the fuel subsidy removal on vulnerable Nigerians. The federal government approved the money in form of grants and loans. Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, disclosed to newsmen at the State House Abuja on Thursday after a meeting of the council. Take a look at the report.
The federal government's release of 5 billion naira to each state is to finance the procurement of 100,000 bags of rice and 40,000 bags each of maize and fertilizers. 52% of the funds will be given to states as grants, while 48% of the 5 billion naira is to be paid back on an installmental basis within a period of 20 months to the Central Bank of Nigeria.
In order to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, the federal government of Nigeria has released 5 trucks of rice to each state last week.
The council is also concerned about the instability of the Naira, which seemed to have been worsened by the unifying of the foreign exchange markets. But Governor of Anambra State is quick to point out that the foreign exchange volatility goes beyond the present economic reforms. Rather, he explains that it is rooted in some monetary decisions taken by the previous administration.
There was no way you were going to avoid forex volatility, as it were. If you just printed 22, 23 trillion naira pumped into the system with nothing to back it by way of ways and means, which was what happened under the previous regime. There is no way you will pump all of those and not expect prices, inflation, and exchange rate to give way.
The council also gave an update on measures to mitigate the effects of floods last year, for which a committee was set up by NEC. Though it expressed concerns over the inability of 15 states to submit reports of impact assessments of the floods in their states, the federal government will soon release funds to the affected areas. Nevertheless, Kogi State Governor stresses that before any palliatives, the state governors had already intervened to provide instant remedy to affected persons.
Every state is affected. And let me tell you, before any palliative or before any assistance comes from any donor agency or federal government, every state makes effort to ensure that we take the peoples off harm's way.
Meanwhile, the state of the excess crude account for the past 1 month stands at $473.754 million, while the natural resources account till date stands at 115.175 billion naira. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
And on the heels of rising food prices, Jos residents, like many others across Nigeria, are lamenting the high cost of food items in the market, saying the situation is already beyond their reach. While speaking to Trust TV, they say life has become very difficult and are calling on President Bola Tinubu to urgently do something to take them out of the present economic hardship. Here is the report.
It is general knowledge that the high cost of basic food items such as maize, rice, beans, yam, among others, have become a topic of discussion, not only among low-income earners, but also the middle class in recent time. At every gathering, marketplaces, organizations, deliberations on the high cost of living have become the order of the day. Some residents in Jos say, although they have come to terms with the situation as the will of Allah, it is high time the federal government did something to cushion the effect of the current economic hardship in the country. Honestly, life has become somehow. When you compare life in those days and now, you will know that we are in a difficult situation. I remember there was a time we bought a bag of maize at 1,000 naira, but today we are buying 1 mudu of corn flour at 1,000 naira. We are begging those in power to come to our aid. Life has much changed that many households cannot afford food because of the economic hardship. Our leaders should have pity on us. They should know that we voted them into power not to make life unbearable for us. We know that Allah is aware of the situation. Our leaders should know that we are suffering. They should know that life is very difficult for us now. I bought 1 mudu of corn flour at 1,100 naira, and that will not be enough for the family. Idris Yahaya, who sells corn flour, explains why the product is costly at the moment. We sell 1 kg of corn flour at the rate of 850 naira at the moment, and this is as a result of the high cost of maize in the market. Maize is very scarce in the market. Added to that is cost of transporting the maize. Transportation has become very expensive, and that is why the corn flour is expensive too. Many families across Nigeria are calling on the federal government to come up with a sustainable measures that will help cushion the effect of the economic hardship in the country. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And elsewhere, the assigning of portfolios to ministerial nominees has generated some controversy in the polity, with one key question drawn from most of the chatter. Will this team of ministers who have now formed the new administration be able to deliver the renewed hope agenda promised by President Bola Tinubu? Viewers, this is Daily Politics, and I'm your host, Hamza Idris. Today is Friday, and as you know, it is your day. You and I have been the ones feeling the brunt of the government's policies, actions, and inactions. So call the numbers that will be displayed on your screen when the phone line is open to share your thoughts. Also, endeavor to keep your responses short so that others can contribute and avoid using foul language. But before then, join me tonight to discuss these issues and more. I have Kende Amadu with me in the studio. He is the State House correspondent for the Trust TV and is also one of our in-house analysts. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
You have seen the reports, the meeting of the National Economic Council and the backlash. Then what Nigerians are saying. But let's start with the backlash that trailed the announcement of 180 billion naira palliative. You reported it. The Labour said that it's like mischief of sort because the federal government more or less abandoned them and then invited state governors and announced this money, and they don't trust the governors, meaning there is trust deficit. Yeah, right? So, did you expected the conversation around giving money to governors while at the State House, yesterday when the event happened?
Well, the bottom line is Labour is negotiating with a separate committee that is headed by the Chief of Staff.
Yeah, to the President, that's Bajabi Amila, right? Former Speaker of the
House. The National Economic Council is chaired by the Vice President.
Yeah.
And it comprises, it's an advisory body that comprises all state governors in the Federation. And their main brief is to advise the President on what to do in the economy. Now, their meeting is different from the president.
Yeah, that of the president. Labour and the committee set up by the federal government.
And if you go to the decisions reached at that meeting, you have to cast your mind back to the 31st of July, the president's nationwide broadcast, in which he had already made some of these promises.
Okay.
The sum of 200 billion was set aside to fund palliatives.
Yes.
And that 200 billion is now what we see going to 36 states and the FCT. 5 billion naira each, which amounts to 185 billion naira.
Yeah.
Aside from that, they have also released 5 trucks of grains and fertilizer to the states. Also, an immediate response to the, to
SMEs and all that, because they mentioned some figures there. Yeah.
No, the SMEs, that part.
It's a separate money,
separate money. That is that is the $800 million grant.
Okay.
That is the breakdown in which they said that money will go to SMEs, conditional cash transfer, and industrial sector and agriculture. Yeah, the 125 billion will go for cash transfers, agricultural sector, as well as gas expansion for buses. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. So these are, I don't believe Labour should jump the gun.
Make a storm in a teacup.
Because these are issues that had been...
They are separate. But I think their grudge was that why releasing the money to governors? It's like there is break of trust.
Yes.
I think the Secretary General of the TUC, he said that the governors, they, subverted COVID-19 money. They also, the money, the food given to them, they just kept it in the warehouses. Citizens had to go and break into those facilities. He also made reference to Paris Club funds that the government, some of them, hid in banks and all that. So I think it's not that they are accusing government or federal government of releasing the money, but why to the governor? So I don't know. They said it should have been a separate committee.
So, but how do they expect this to work without the governors? The governors are the helmsmen that are constitutionally empowered to superintend their states. Yeah, they are like fathers and all that. This is a federal system of government. And so the federal government will not go into the states.
Yeah.
The federal government will still go through the state governments.
But at what level did this trust, collapse? Because if Labour are saying we don't trust our governors, I think there is moral deficit.
No, but there's a lot of water that has passed under the bridge. There's a reason. There's a good reason for the distrust. We are only just realizing a few days ago that the Central Bank of Nigeria took a $12.5 billion loan from Goldman and Sachs and one other foreign bank without authorization of President Buhari. And these
behind his back,
yeah. These are the things. These are the things that are coming out of the investigation by the special investigator into the central bank. Now, only yesterday during the meeting of the National Economic Council, the Anambra State governor is telling us that 22
trillion naira through ways and means was responsible for the
released. Notes, he said notes were printed and released into the economy without backing.
But what we are saying is, were they really released to the economy? Because you remember, I hosted Buba Galadima here ahead of the election.
Yeah.
He said one governor had over 20 billion in his house, cash for election. And these were some of the monies, the ways and means. They didn't go to the people. So while we feel Labour is going overboard, I think they also have their own concerns. Look at the COVID, right? These contributions by the private sector. COVID, they put the money together, Dangote, Otedola, Abdul Samad, this owner of Transcorp, Adenuga and all that. Rich people in Nigeria contributed a lot of money. They gave food and all that for the governors to share to the people. But they went and kept, and the allegation was that they wanted to use those things for campaign. This was in 2020, right? Yes. At the height of the COVID problem. So I think there is moral burden on the governors to prove to Nigerians this time around that, look, we are serious, we are for you, we are also feeling your pain. Look at the report from Jos, Mr. Kennedy. Are you not worried? I nearly shed tears, that man. You can see the pain.
Yes.
1,100 naira for a mudu of flour. And he said it's not even enough for his family. So I think we're in trouble.
Well, yes, the economy is on a decline. And the present administration does not have too much time before...
Already nearly 3 months.
It's in office, is barely 2 months.
Is it 2 months or 3 months? They are approaching 3 months because they finished June, they finished July. Okay. Now August is halfway.
Is halfway.
So they are approaching, can you imagine?
Nearly 3 months.
Yes.
And so, I believe that the president does not have as much time as he believes he has. The people, this is not, you can't say that this suffering is only in one part of the country.
It has permeated everywhere.
It's across the country.
Yeah, even while driving on the roads, you see it. I traveled to my village last week. I was shocked. Yes. You give people 200 Naira, and when you see the containers on their faces, it's mind-boggling. So, I don't know, this release is it better than the 8,000 they contemplated before? Because I made some calculation, I may be wrong, before we came into the studio. 180 trucks, if you are sharing it to all the states, meaning that in Abuja, each will have like 4 trucks of rice. And I don't think if each truck will take more than 600 bags. So if you have 5 for, let's say, Lagos, or you have 5 trucks for Kano, or 5 trucks for, let's say, Borno, meaning you have 2,400 bags. Who are you going to give? What is the population of Lagos?
Okay.
What is the population of Kano?
Okay.
What is the population of Borno? Even Yobe or Zamfara. With smaller population. 2,400. It may be more, I don't know, but I know that trailer, it takes around 600 bags.
Someone asked me yesterday that, okay, what is this a one-off?
Very likely. Even though Governor Baba Zulum, he kept saying that this is just a mediatory measure. It's in the interim that they are coming with elaborate interventions.
Even in the interim, it is pretty small for an immediate intervention to stave off.
And if you have 5 people in your family, that is father, mother, and 3 children on the average, look at what we have on our screen. And you are to buy the food, bag of rice there. It's now 47,000.
47,000, yes.
Meaning, even if you are buying half bag of beans, it will cost you around 23,500.
And it will be more than that.
And if it is maize is now 52.
52.
And this is not up to the minimum wage. So assuming you get a bag of rice for the month of August, for the month of September, and you need to buy it from your salary. We are not talking about salary earners. Mm-hmm. And the whole of the people who are working, both public and private sector, is up to 2 million. I brought DG of civil service reform though that time, and quite a number of other people. The figures they gave of people who are earning salary is so mega compared to the population of Nigeria, over 120 million people.
Yeah.
So I am really at a loss, but I think what we should correct is trust deficit. The governors should do much in bridging this wallowing gap that, put them on one side and the people they lead on the other. Yeah, but the other question we asked, which I want you to comment, is, before we open our lines, right? The ministers, how far? What is your take? Has the president actually put them in the right place?
Well, there have been some surprises. But by and large, I think he has been courageous enough to try and break some old jinxes.
Okay.
Now, whether these decisions will work will now depend on the individuals that.
Is it like giving Wike FCT, which has been dominated since 1999 by a section of the country?
Section of the country, yes.
Okay.
Like also, you have. Let me say this: the ministers that have been given key positions.
Yeah.
If you notice, you now have a coordinating minister of the economy back in the system.
Yeah, which we had
during Jonathan's time.
Yeah.
Now we have a coordinating minister
of
health and social welfare.
Yes.
Which means that the issues of the social register, which
is that the issue? Because that's social welfare. Because I was asking myself.
Yes.
Social welfare. If you are talking about social welfare, is it maybe providing services to the people, right? Giving them stipends?
But the social welfare register, which the credibility had been questioned.
Yeah, even the governors challenged its credibility. Yeah, but I think it was adulterated when half of it went to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, half of it to the office of the Vice President, and then the wings in the Vice President's office were actually clipped. Midway into the second tenure of President Buhari.
Yes. So those are huge responsibilities. Now, transportation has been split into marine and blue economy. You understand? So, what I am trying to see here is that there are some ministries about 10 ministries that have been set aside as the ministries that will drive the economy.
Okay, you analyze that.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And so when you have those ministries driving the economy, like works.
Yeah, we have works.
Like the marine and blue economy, like communications and digital.
Water resources and sanitation, agriculture and food security. It wasn't like this. The nomenclature wasn't like this during.
All have changed.
Housing and urban development.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You understand? So those ministries will drive the economy. Then you have ministries that will play supporting roles.
Yeah, maybe some of those ministries. We had editorial here in the Daily Trust where the members agreed that it wasn't really necessary to have as much ministers as we have. And as you rightly said, maybe we have 10 that will actually drive the process. Then the rest will maybe to satisfy the ego of those who feel they must be carried along.
So that is what we will have going forward, because really it's a bogus cabinet. And you don't expect all the...
And you'll be covering the villa for over 2 decades. Yes. Did you expect that Tinubu will come with this thing, going by his mantra during the election, reducing cost of governance and all that?
I think it was to be expected. Aside from all of that, he's number one a politician.
And I was shocked when I saw the campaign council.
Yes.
I still have it in my drawer. So most of the times I make reference to it. Yeah. Even when I look at the media team, for instance, the directorates under the media, I said, wow, how are they going to compensate all these people? Because I don't think if anyone there believes that his reward will be like that of a teacher or a journalist like me in heaven and you.
So, yeah. 10 ministries will drive the economy.
Okay.
And then...
This is your estimation?
That is my estimation. And where we've seen it play out before. But what I see is that there is this emphasis on economy.
Okay, yeah.
And if they can get it right, it will be okay. I'm a bit uncomfortable that you have 2 ex-governors in defense.
Is it at the detriment, the emphasis on security, on economy, is it at the detriment of security? I had, former national secretary of the party yesterday during the program, and I raised question based on what we received, text messages, emails, and all that. People asking us to ask question that Tinubu does not even have any general now, or colonel or whatever, I don't know, I may be wrong, in the cabinet, you know. The National Security Advisor is a police officer and he's all right. He has all the pedigree to drive his office well and without prejudice to also Jigawa State Governor and Governor of Zamfara State. These are all civilians and they have been given defense. Some are saying Tinubu doesn't see security as a serious threat compared to how he sees the agencies in the economy.
Yes, as a trained accountant, you will see that that will be where his bias would be.
Yeah.
Because you know that yeah, he probably has taken an assessment of what is going on in the economy. And if the economy is not fixed as soon as possible, there will most likely, you understand, all other sectors feed from it, including defense. Because if you don't have, right now we have a situation in which 96% of revenue that we make goes into servicing debt.
Yeah.
And I think that is what the president is trying to reverse as soon as possible.
All right, good. We will now open our lines. Nigerians, feel free and call. Let's have your take on all the issues we have. And let's hear your thoughts. Yeah.
So, his emphasis, you can say, and that's because of his area of specialization, is on economy. But I don't think that he's also neglecting security.
Okay.
Because security, whether we like it or not, is in our faces.
Yeah.
Just this last week, over 20 soldiers killed in
Niger State. Yeah.
So even if he wasn't taking it seriously, that is a wake-up call that insecurity is still lurking. And, you know, there has been this increase, despite the fact that the National Security Advisor said that the cases of insecurity have reduced since they came into power. But you actually see, on the contrary, that there has been an increase in incidents of insecurity.
Which is an indictment.
Which is, yes, an indictment. So, too much concentration on economic issues and reforms, and then the tendency to allow issues of security blindside is what is happening right now.
Okay.
You understand? And I just want to say that when the government came into place, it took on too many economic reforms.
Yeah.
And this is what has resulted in this cost of living crisis that we're in now.
All right. Kende, I think we have our first caller, Solomon from Kogi State. Welcome to the program, Solomon. And what are your thoughts?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Solomon. Go ahead.
Please, my question is that 5 billion they want to send to each state. Please, how are they going to share it? Is it by individual or?
All right, I understand your question, and we'll try to see whether we'll answer. But viewers, keep calling. Our lines have been displayed on the screen. Call. Maybe you have answer for Solomon, but we'll try and see whether Kende has answer for him. Yeah, thank you for calling. Yeah, you see?
Yeah, the 5 billion is for the procurement of rice, grains.
Apart from the ones they will give them, fertilizer.
Fertilizer. Apart from the 5 trucks each that have been sent earlier last week.
Okay.
Now this 5 billion is for the...
But remember, these same governors question the integrity of the register. Social register, you know, that the President Buhari administration used to. What magic wand are they going to deploy now to get this into the targeted audience? Because NLC president, he said that they believe it will not work. Maybe they'll just share these things to their cronies.
There's a danger of that, and it's a very real danger. But I don't think that any governor at this point in time would want to take a chance of inciting its people against him, his people against him. Remember that we've had, was it last month, incidents of people breaking into warehouses.
It happened in Adamawa State, yes.
And it started in Taraba and swiftly snowballed. In fact, in Adamawa, it now took on a life on its own, and the government was forced to declare curfew.
Yeah. Okay, we have Mohammed from Suleja, Niger State. Mohammed, welcome to the program, and what are your thoughts?
Good morning, sir.
Welcome. Go ahead.
I don't know. You said you are going to divide 375 billion and 336. Is it for the masses or for the politicians, sir?
It's for Nigerians.
How is he going to get to handle the masses? If really that's for the masses, sir. As a policy.
Yeah, you know, the National Executive Council said that the money, National Economic Council, they said they are going to distribute it to Nigerians through the state governors, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you have some reservations. You think you don't trust the process?
Yeah, you know, sir, the observation that I have there is that if really they want it to get to the grassroots, it needs total transition. And those that are going to use to share that palliative should be the honest people that are going to deliver this to the masses.
All right. All right, thank you very much, Mohammed. So you can see some of the reservations we are also raising here. Yeah, deficit in trust.
Yes, there is. I think if the governors actually claimed when they discredited the social welfare register that they are the ones that know the people in their states, and that nobody should sit in Abuja
and decide
for them. So there is a burden. There is a burden on them and onus to prove themselves. Now let's remember that many of the governors, it will be unfair on the new governors to be painted with the same brush.
Okay, as their
predecessors, or those that they met in office that have just spent one term in office. So I don't know how they are going to do it, but I believe they have a point to prove, and they have to. They don't have much time. The patience of Nigerians is running thin very fast. And if they don't do something to arrest the situation, it may be another story.
Now, but as we said earlier, the governors most likely will work closely with ministers, especially those agencies and ministries that you mentioned earlier.
And local governments.
Yes. Now, the caliber of people that are now our ministers, do you think they will also be disposed to the governors to work together so that, you know, we have this penchant in Nigeria, when it comes to sharing, everyone will come together. But while executing, you know, everyone will say, no, allow me to do it my own way. And this has never worked at all in Nigeria.
There's a danger of that because you already see that among the governors, they're already talking about sharing the palliatives, the grains, everything their own way.
Their own way.
Because they know that because each state has its peculiarities. So there's no uniform.
And uniformity is key to achieving results.
Yes.
And sometimes you have traveled widely. I have also traveled widely. And what we seen and we are seeing in other countries is that this social register is working. They have the green card. And all, so there is no ambiguity. Once you are out of job, just go and register.
Yes.
And they have everything about you.
Yes.
So I was talking to someone in our local government, Adwa in Kasana. I said, how difficult is it for local government chairman to use ward heads to register the people? Because every local government has wards, and every wards have leaders, and every leader knows his people. Is this something that should take more than 2 months to achieve?
I think the problem
Since the structure is there.
The structure is there, but what we have had, the problem we've had is that there's been the politicization of structures at the grassroots.
Then who will dismantle that structure? Is it Tinubu? Should Tinubu do that?
Yes.
Because I feel as reporters, as anchors and all that, we're responsible. And as a Nigerian, I feel that there are so many ways to catch a thief. There are so many ways that you can achieve a lot. I feel strongly that if I were a local government chairman, I should be able to come to my state governor and say that I know every other person in my local government.
But the local government chairman...
And I can give everyone account.
The local government chairman will adopt this who is for me and who is against me attitude. And that is what has caused a lot of problems all the way down the line. And don't forget that even the local government structure is not empowered
to do some of these things.
Some of these things. Because if we are going to do that kind of distribution of grains, the state government will distribute the grains to each local government. And ensure and ask the local government chairman to ensure that it goes all the way down. But it might not work because the local government is not empowered.
And therefore, even the words I'm talking about are equally not empowered. But I think it's a lesson for our incoming ministers.
Yes.
A lesson for the governors that have been sworn in, and lesson for local government chairmen that will soon be, sworn in after election. Because I have a feeling that quite a number of states will conduct election, so we mustn't have to have a fixated way of doing things. I mean, you can tweak it to now reach out to the people as soon as possible, because the dilemma now is since May 29 we heard of these palliatives, and distribution has remained a problem because the structures have been adulterated deliberately,
Yes.
It was deliberate because I feel that this is an easy thing to do, to reach out to the people, to reach out to the hungry Nigerians. Many households cannot afford to eat now because the food is not there.
Yes,
All right, we have Bernard, I think. But you're okay, Bernard. Welcome to the program from Kogi State. Badabs, welcome. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
Okay, what are your contributions to the program?
This is a welcome development.
All right.
This palliative of 15, but I expected the federal government to have used the pattern of house-to-house immunization that will assist in the distribution.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you. Any other thing from you? Okay, he has gone. Thank you very much for your contribution. And he said something key, very brief, immunization, that they should use the template, right?
Yes.
So, we lost him because the network is bad, but I think he has passed the message that why can't these governors, chairman or caretaker or whatever use the immunization template because they have the record. So why can't they use it? You subscribe to that also?
I subscribe to that. I also subscribe to using the traditional institutions.
Okay.
Which is present in every state at the grassroots. And, the traditional rulers and their institutions are not, subject to this politicization of structures. All their subjects, whether
to them,
belong to them, no matter what party they belong to.
All right, we have another caller. son of Adamu from Makodi, Benue State. Yeah, please go ahead and welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Good evening, Adamu. Go ahead.
Hamza.
Yes.
My thoughts about the Renew Hope. My thoughts for Renew Hope. To be honest with you, I don't see anything new.
You don't see anything new? Is it in the ministers or in the Renewed Hope agenda? Oh, sad. We lost him. Yeah, Adam said that he didn't see anything new. Probably it's all the project, the Renewed Hope, and then maybe the ministers. But I think he's really angry.
Yes, that's that trust deficit.
But are we going to have our ministers from the heaven or from hell? They have to be Nigerians.
I think the argument that a lot of people are extending is that they expected these ministers to be technocrats. And now what we've seen is the cabinet, filled with politicians.
All right.
And so, what success would politicians bring to the table? The country actually needs a lot of re-engineering.
So people need reassurance. It's like we have another caller, Aliyu from Suleja, Niger State. Aliyu, welcome to the program, and what are your thoughts?
Good evening, Mr. Aram Laizis.
Welcome. Thank you.
Amadou. I really appreciate your efforts and the Trust TV for wonderful job you are doing to Nigerians. God bless all of you.
I mean, God bless you
see,
too.
The 5 billion Naira given to the governors, I'm surprised that Nigerians we elected the governors upon what happened during the COVID-19. If we didn't learn the lesson and make sure we elected governors that can deliver good dividends of democracy to us, then it is our problem. I think the federal government has been revealed by giving them the palliative whatsoever. Then it is down for the governor to make sure that it reaches down to the grassroots to make sure that Nigeria feel the impact of the effort that federal government has put in place. Then if we cannot hold them accountable, then it is our cup of tea. Yes.
So what you are saying is that Nigerians are also to blame for re-electing some of these governors and electing some that right from the word go don't have the pedigree, and they could be able to deliver.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Aliyu. Thank you. Yeah. Trust deficit.
Yes.
Kende. We mentioned this word, and it's like every other person has it. So how do we bridge the gap? I hope Nigerians will call and tell us how to bridge this trust deficit between leaders and followers. But over to you.
Well, you made a very good point. The point is people voted for these governors. Now, some people may say that maybe the elections were twisted and manipulated.
Yeah, maybe they were not the real people they wanted. But I keep asking, on many occasions that who should come and be governor? Who should come and be president? Who should come and be minister?
Are they not from among the people?
They are.
And whether you like it or not, some people voted for them. They didn't have 0 votes. You understand? And the people that voted for them should now search their minds now. Did I vote for the right person?
Right person. All right, thank you. We have Galadima from the Northeast, first caller from that part of the country. Galadima, welcome to the program. Borno precisely.
Good evening.
Good evening, Galadima.
My contribution is about this palliative, the 5 trust given by the federal government.
Okay, go ahead.
By my calculation, the 5 trucks, at least each state will get 3,000 bags of rice.
Okay.
Is it given to the state capital or is it going to be distributed across the local government of the state?
Wow.
Because even if the governors are allowed to distribute this palliative to their to those who voted them in their party, I don't think everybody will get it.
All right, Galadima.
So my take is, the percentage given is too low. It cannot cover the whole state.
All right.
They should do something about it. That is my.
All right. Thank you very much, Galadima. You know, he said, based on his estimation, 3,000 bucks. And if you take it to Borno, Borno has 27 local government areas. So how do you share it? And he even narrowed it that, okay, let it go to APC loyalists because Borno is on the APC. It will not go round. It's like dropping a needle in an ocean.
But, you know, we're looking away from the fact that this is a federal government contribution to help the states.
All right.
The states themselves are supposed to come up with their own palliatives.
And certainly Borno has been doing that. He's from there. I've seen it. Okay, we have another caller, Aliyu from Gombe. Welcome to the program, Aliyu. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yes.
On the program, I enjoyed the program very well.
Thank
you. It is very, very educative.
Okay, fine. And what about issues in Nigeria, the issues we have raised? Appointment of the ministers, the portfolios given to them?
My thoughts of the program is, I enjoyed the program and it's very educative.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, do you have any reservations or commendation for... Okay, we have lost him. Sad. I hope you call again. So now maybe we have to tell Nigerians that beyond the federal government, they should also hold their governors to task because they have allocation. And look at it based on what they said. In the first month of subsidy, over 1 trillion naira has been saved. Right. Now we have July, right? Maybe they have saved another money. Okay, it's like we have another caller. Hello? I think we lost him. The weather in Abuja is a bit problematic and it's affecting the calls. So.
Yes, you made a good point there. The states also have to come up with their own palliatives.
Strong ones.
Strong ones. And going forward, there must be an effective distribution system of these palliatives to the states. Now, the federal government cannot come and do it for them. They have to do it themselves.
But I think beyond all the sharing of the palliatives, whether it is 5,000, 8,000, one bag of rice or one measure of sugar or whatever, is finding permanent solution to this, which is infrastructure for transportation. Let's see the electric vehicles on ground so that people will start going to work. Productivity is really going down in Nigeria, and this is a serious problem. What do you think?
Yes, the multiplier effects, the backlash is not, we're looking at we tend to concentrate only on the cost of living crisis.
Yes.
What does it do to productivity? One, what does it do to state revenue? Two, what does it do to even federal government revenue?
To stop inflation.
To stop...
to attract forex.
All these things, intermingle, interlink. And in the final analysis, if a permanent solution is not found, an economic ladder out of this quagmire, we might find out that the economy may go into depression. Because I don't think that the impact was actually thought through. Yes, they were faced with, the government was faced with a hard choice.
Exactly.
But it should have, I believe, that is my own belief.
Finally,
that each reform it had to take, he should have taken in one after the other.
Okay, instead of the rush. All right. Thank you very much, Kende, our in-house analyst and State House correspondent, for contributing to the program and helping me answer some of the questions raised by our viewers across Nigeria. Thank you for coming, and I hope to have you again.
Thank you for having me.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We sincerely hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics Live airing every weekday, and also our special package on Friday, during which we open our telephone line for you to comment on national issues as you did today. News Hour is up next at the top of the hour. Thank you for your contributions, and sorry for those who we could not pick their calls, text messages, and all that. We have to do that next week. Once again, we thank you for watching. Bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.